Hey you guys, so my intention was to make two other different types of videos, but I feel like this is a little bit more important because I'm gaining some more revelation, and I think that the US in some way, shape or form is going to be involved in the sudden eruption of war and violence that has breaking out between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. And the Yemen being invaded by Saudi Arabia and by the Shiites and the Sunnis, and the involvement or the backing of Iran. And ironically enough, the Lord gave me a vision almost to the day, one day off. And like I mentioned, a couple dreams here in the last week or so. Okay, so in the last video I did talk about the Sunnis and the Shiites going at it. The Houthi rebels had attempted to fire a missile, I believe, into Saudi Arabia, and the Saudi Arabians shot it down and have gone into Yemen. And you guys, this is the Sunnis versus the Shiites. And I believe the Sunnis are backed by Iran. And this is important. This ties into a vision that I'll tell you about here in a little bit. So I did have a dream where, and I posted it about a week ago, where my husband was saying that just like it is written in the Quran, it's written in the Bible that there will be Jews against Jew. And I corrected him to tell him that the Bible says no, there will be nation against nation. And I had talked to Sherry about it. She said, well, this is the Sunnis against the Shiites, because technically, as a Muslim would tell you, because they do believe that they are from the lineage of Abraham, but technically they are Jews against Jews, technically, or from the lineage of Abraham, I should say. All Arabs and Jews are both from the lineage of Abraham. So they are technically Jewish. And I was like, okay, yeah. But there was a point to that particular dream, and there was some things that the Lord was having me to address, and on another side. But this particular video that Paul Begley put out, and when he said Sunnis against Shiites, that did make me think about what Sherry said, but I wasn't quite sure how it all would tie in. I'm going to leave her video below because she gives an explanation, and probably will be given a continuation of that explanation, and myself also, of the Sunnis and the Shiites and who's who and what's what, and how that all is going to tie in. So I'll leave her video below. So like I said, the video about the Sunnis and the Shiites and the Arabs and the Yemen war that is obviously going on right now caught my attention because of this, the phrase that he used, the Sunnis and the Shiites, and also the dream that I had about my husband's talking about war that he found in my left behind letter that I left for him. They was taking a sneak peek at beforehand. So when I went to look at Begley, when I went to fetch the video about Saudi Arabia and Yemen, I noticed that he had already put up another video. And the title of that video is, I think it was 1,500 more settlements have been approved for the West Bank. And in actuality, I believe that's why my husband is bringing his parents over ahead of whatever violence may occur there in Jordan. Okay, you guys, I'm going to do a little bit more research on that and ask a few more questions about that, okay? But that triggered, when I saw that video, it reminded me that I had an open vision of, and I had to go back and look at the video. I had an open vision, and I posted the video on January 10th, 2017. You guys, this is January 11th, 2018. So, the vision that I had was one, what ended up being, it was what I perceived to be some type of fiery missile or whatever, and it ended up being, in actuality, a warning shot the U.S. fired towards Iran or at Iran, okay? And the next vision, in the same video, I had a open vision of a complex of buildings, and they were higher level, lower level, higher level, lower level. And when I had watched the news that day, they apparently had been talking about newly approved settlements that Netanyahu announced back in January, you guys. I didn't have the I'm trying to think back to that day, but I'm thinking that I didn't have the volume up, and I'm pretty sure I did an update on it, but I just can't find the update. But when I had the vision of that, and when I saw it in real life, it looked like these buildings that they were showing, because there was going to be talks between the White House and Israel, or Benjamin Netanyahu was about to announce that they were approving more settlements in the West Bank. And also, when I see there in that same news clip, or in the same news program, there was a clip of the White House, what kind of also looks like the open vision. It was weird, but it looked like the settlements or the housing in Israel, and then it also kind of at an angle in which they showed the White House. It also kind of looked like the White House, and I explained that in the video, and I had no idea why I was having this type of vision. Well, almost a year to the date later, another set of settlements have been approved for the West Bank for Israeli occupation. You guys, this is a problem. One, because this is supposed to be that the Palestinians want this territory, but Israel approved settlement of Israelis in this particular territory. And also, we just declared Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel. So that's where we're in. We're tied in there. And not only that, we're supposed to be building a military base in Israel, if I'm not mistaken, or we already have. So me having a vision of what turned out to be a warning shot fired into Iran, and also settlements being built in, or being approved to be built in Israel. I think the actual news story came out. I had to go back and look for it. The actual news story came out on the web like 2 weeks later, but I'm pretty sure that I had seen it on the news beforehand. It was something about Israel, and I actually used the thumbnail that's going to be. I used a thumbnail very similar, and I took the thumbnail from Israel. I used the thumbnail very similar to the thumbnail that I'm going to use right now. Okay, you guys. So Iran, back to Iran. Well, the Saudi Arabian, we are allies with the Saudi Arabian, where they're using our equipment. And this is how they intercepted this rocket that was fired by the Yemen suit. I think it was the Sunnis, the Iranian backed Sunni rebels or Houthi rebels. I'm thinking that if the if Saudi Arabia and Yemen, the Sunnis and the Shiites, get to the point where they're about to kill each other, I think we're going to get involved. And I'm wondering if in actuality we will be firing yet another warning shot towards Iran, not towards Iran, but something to do with Iran. Who knows? Something to do with Iran, because these Houthi rebels that fired this missile into Saudi Arabia are Iranian backed, and it's just making me wonder that at some point we're going to be involved, and it actually, with this particular, it's just making me think that a whole bunch of mess is about to break out in the Middle East, not just between Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, Yemen, but also the West Bank, Israel, Jordan, the West Bank. And I think it may, as it appears, is all about to break out at one time. My husband is bringing his parents over, and apparently it's supposed to be before the end of January, because whatever he fears is going to take place, as apparently, well, this is when their visa runs out, but apparently this needs to be, he fears this is going to take place like right now. And I don't know, you guys, it's just a lot. I'm trying to make sure that I don't leave out anything. Looking back for this particular vision that I had on January 10th, 2017, closely behind it, I was seeing that I had a dream about Israel, and also a dream about Amos. Amos pronounced judgment on Israel. All these dreams and visions and whatever else I had, they all are closely right behind this vision that I put out. So I would say January and February. So revelation is coming forth now, and almost to the day, you guys, almost to the day, another group of settlements have been approved for the West Bank after the first initial open vision the Lord showed me. And it's a few things I'm going to put together. I'm going to leave Cher's video below of her explanation of the Sunnis versus the Shiites and the lineage. And who's backing who, our allies, and who's allied with who. And I have a couple more videos that I need to make, and I'll come back and talk with you later. Okay, you guys? Any comments, you can leave them below.